Good afternoon. I'm Richard Flaherty, President of ICPF. Welcome to ICPF's 15th Annual Careers in Corrugated Packaging Teleconference. We're live here at Michigan State Studios, and I wish to thank the 450 students and faculty from 16 college campuses across North America for joining us today. Our moderators are Joe Filler from Sound Packaging and Tyler Matusevich from Rock 10. Joe and Tyler, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Richard. Hi, I'm Joe Filler. I graduated from Lewis Clark State College in December 2012 with a bachelor's degree in graphic design, print technology, and a bachelor's degree in welding technology. With the help of ICPF, our college incorporated a corrugated packaging design track in the graphic design department several years ago. And I was fortunate to have been on the ground floor of the new packaging program. The idea of building something with CAD and combining it with graphics to help customers sell their products is something that really resonates with me. Like you who are viewing this from campus afar, I participated as a student in ICPF's Corrugated Packaging and Displays Teleconference from my Lewis Clark campus that is located in the upper northwest on the Idaho and Washington state border. And after learning of ICPF's career portal and its other career resources, after I graduated, I used them to secure a packaging designer position at Sound Packaging in the Phoenix, Arizona area. The International Corrugated Packaging Foundation, ICPF for short, is an educational foundation that is funded by individual corrugated corporations and co-sponsored by the Association of Independent Corrugated Converters and the Fiber Box Association. You may best know ICPF for its donations of corrugated packaging and display CAD tables, lab equipment, curricula, and design software that it has provided to many of your campuses, including my alma mater. I wish to remind faculty today that ICPF's online curricula is available on ICPF's website, careersincorrugated.org. It was updated recently with an expanded module on sustainability practices. It also has new individual faculty codes for the answers to questions at the end of many chapters in the curricula. Over 60 individual corporations with hundreds of facilities across North America support ICPF's teleconference and the other activities of ICPF. By increasing your current knowledge of the industry, today's teleconference presentation will better prepare you to be a more qualified candidate for the special career opportunities in the corrugated packaging and display industry. It was extremely helpful to me, and it's one of the major reasons I am here today. Today you will hear about business of corrugated packaging and display. Our industry panelists will address such topics as two general types of business structures that make up the core industry, the markets that drive the businesses, the critical personnel and careers that are found in the industry, and some of the sustainable applications within the industry. With almost 1,300 locations in the U.S. alone, virtually each of you, no matter in what state you reside, live within easy commuting distance of a potential corrugated packaging and display employer. Today we hope to further introduce those of you who are in packaging, graphic design, marketing, and sales, supply chain management, and related studies to your respective career opportunities found in the corrugated packaging industry. ICPF's principal purpose for the production of this annual teleconference is to provide you more insight to the corrugated packaging and display industry and encourage you to consider a career here. It's a $26 billion a year industry, and it creates the most sustainable and environmentally sensitive packaging on the planet. Most importantly, upon entering the industry after graduation, you will play a major role in developing even more sustainable packaging for a greener planet tomorrow. Tyler?
Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. It's special to be back on the Michigan State campus. I'm Tyler Matusevich. I also participated in the ICPF Corrugated Packaging and Displays Teleconference twice, actually, once from the Blacksburg campus in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and again in February 2012. I actually had the opportunity to fly here into East Lansing and sit in this Michigan State audience. I graduated this past spring from Virginia Tech with a Bachelor of Science degree in Packaging Science. I've had a spectrum of internships from packaging engineering to design. Through these internships and my experience with the Teleconference and ICPF, I decided I wanted to take a corrugated sales career path. So with the assistance of ICPF, upon graduation, I joined Rock 10 as a sales representative, where I recently finished my training program and began my career. Now we'll start to hear from the schools, and I want to hear a big cheer when we recognize your campus. Today we welcome Appalachian State University.
Ready? Yeah.
Welcome, Professor. Welcome, Professor John Craft and your students. John, I understand you're making good use of the ICPF CAD table and RDO software. Let's hear a loud cheer from ASU. Bowling Green State University.
Woo, go Falcons! Yay!
This is the beginning of the 4th year for the corrugated packaging track in Bowling Green's visual communication program. 2 years ago, Bowling Green integrated structural design into its corrugated curricula, utilizing ICPF CAD table and RDO software. Welcome Professor Fugit, Dr. Trautman, and the Falcons. Clemson University. Home to the Bob's Corrugated Press and other equipment donated through ICPF. Welcome again to Professors Liam O'Hara, Bob Moore, Andrew Hurley, and their students from both the graphic communication and packaging departments. The two Clemson programs have been participating together in ICPF's teleconference for the past 8 years. Over the past 4 years, many of the graduates from these programs have been hired through the ICPF network and ICPF partner firms. Let's hear it, Tigers. Dunwoody College of Technology. Another graphic communications program recipient of an ICPF CAD table and RDO software. I recently viewed a video of Dunwoody student Matt Thomas, who through ICPF landed an internship at Liberty Container and was hired full-time as a packaging designer by Liberty Container upon his graduation a year or so ago. Welcome Professors Pete Rivard and your students.
Illinois State University. ISU also has incorporated ICPF's online corrugated curricula into its graphic communications classes. Over 2 years ago, the program added a CAD table and software for structural design. Welcome to Professor Dan Wilson and your graphic and structural design students.
Go Redbirds!
Lewis Clark State College, my alma mater. Welcome to Professor Brian Colsad and the students from the beautiful state of Idaho for your 4th teleconference. The graphic communications program incorporated a CAD table and RDO's designware into its curricula over 2 years ago, and this past year, Lewis Clark received a donation of Arden software through ICPF. I am proud to say that Lewis Clark is the first institution of higher education to incorporate the Arden design software, but I understand, Mr. Flaherty, that 2 additional universities or colleges will be able to acquire Arden software through ICPF this year on a first-come, first-served basis. Let's hear a cheer from Lewis Clark State College. Go Warriors.
Sorry. Michigan State University. Thank you, Professor Pascal and the Spartan packaging students here. Go Green. We also have 6 student guests in our MSU audience. Amanda Matthews, Marshall Rounds, Sheridan Gasser, and Sydney Parkhill from Bowling Green State Graphic and Packaging Program, and Megan Stallings and Cyrus Adapor from Virginia Tech Packaging. Will the 6 of you please stand? And our student design presentation competition judges, Ann Lasecki and Matt Landahl from Landahl Packaging Systems here in Michigan, Mike Schaefer and Godfrey DeMarco from Tavin's Packaging and Display Solutions in Ohio, and Chad Hartzell from Welch Packaging with 7 operations in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Will you all please stand? Millersville University.
Yay!
Back up.
Welcome Professor Mark Snyder and his students. Millersville University only has been an ICPF educational partner for 4 years, and one of its student design teams qualified for the Best of the Best design competition in its university's first year of instruction on the ICPF CAD table and RDO software. Last year, 2 teams qualified for Best of the Best competition and one won first place. The university program also has generated a half dozen or more graduates in the past 3 years who have been hired by ICPF partner corporations. Rochester Institute of Technology.
Hey!
We are pleased to have Professor Tom Kausch and his students here this year. RIT is now on a semester system, so RIT will be able to join the teleconference from here on out. Over the past 4 years, RIT packaging students have been recruited through ICPF for internships and full-time positions in corrugated packaging throughout the Northeast.
Rutgers University. We have a new director of Rutgers Packaging Engineering Program who is joining us for a second year for the teleconference this year. The packaging program is rapidly growing. Through ICPF, the Rutgers Packaging Lab received additional corrugated testing equipment this past year. Let's hear it from Dr. Gee and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, the home of the first football game and the newest addition to the Big Ten. Ryerson University. Ryerson University. Diane Brown and her design students are joining us for the first time this year. Ryerson has a student team in today's competition, and I am told the corrugated industry and ICPF are excited about Ryerson's future work in the packaging design. Let's hear it from Ryerson.
Yeah!
University of Florida. We are pleased to have Florida back this year. Florida has momentum, and over the past 4 years, numerous Florida graduates have landed successful careers in the corrugated packaging industry through ICPF. Clearly, you are making good use of the CAD table and software ICPF provided 7 years ago. Because of class conflicts they have today, we know that Florida students will be in and out of the teleconference, but we wish to welcome any students who are with us right now. Welcome to the University of Florida.
University of Texas Arlington.
Go Gators!
University of Texas Arlington. UTA is ICPF's most recent educational partner and just introduced a packaging track to its large graphic communication department last year through new structural design software, a CAD table, and corrugated curricula provided through ICPF. Like Millersville University, in their first year of corrugated packaging instruction, UTA qualified for ICPF's Best of the Best student design presentation competition. It's pretty impressive. So my challenge to Michigan State, Virginia Tech, and all the other schools out there, so we need to get our student teams into the AICC competition that's posted on their website and try to qualify for ICPF's competition next year. Welcome Professor Dolezal, Dr. Hauer, and the Mavericks. University of Wisconsin Stout. UW Stout Packaging is a regular participant in ICPF's teleconference and is the third or fourth oldest packaging program in the nation. ICPF was pleased to place corrugated testing equipment in the university's lab this year. It's good to have Dr. Meisner and his students with us again this year. Welcome, UW Stout. Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, Virginia Tech, where I spent a great 4 years. 6 or 7 years ago, Virginia Tech was a recipient of ICPF CAD table, RDO software, and compression and shock testers. This fall, the university was a recipient of additional corrugated testing equipment through the ICPF. Virginia Tech regularly uses ICPF's industry speaker resources for its classes as well. Industry speakers and plant tours lead to other opportunities for faculty and students. Contact ICPF to get connected. Welcome Professor Robert Bush, Young Kim, Laszlo Horvath, and the Hokie Packaging Nation. Go Hokies. Cal Poly State University.
Stop!
Cal Poly is a perennial teleconference participant and recipient of a myriad of lab and other equipment from ICPF. Both the packaging and graphic communication programs are joining us again this year. But because of the time difference on the West Coast, Dr. Saha, his packaging classes will be joining us after the university introductions. Let's see if anyone has made it to the teleconference. Looks like we have a few. Hello, Broncos.
How's it going? Go.
Now that the college and university introductions are over, I wish to tell you more about how you can benefit from ICPF resources for pursuing internships and full-time positions. Dave, will you roll the video?
Welcome to the packaging program at the University of Florida. I'm Michael Cochran. Come on, let's take a look. I became interested in packaging initially at the University of Florida. I was a mechanical engineering student, and I was looking for something that would be a little bit more applicable in terms of what's going on in the marketplace today. And I was looking for something that I could see a little bit more of the results of what I was doing. So I came over and spoke with some of the academic advisors here at the ABE department, and they introduced me to packaging sciences, and really I was extremely interested in the program and changed over to it, and here I am today. I'm very grateful for ICPF for setting up this internship with me at Vanguard Companies in Kansas City, Missouri. Some of the things that Vanguard Companies does is they are not just a box plant, but they produce displays, mainly high-quality graphics displays for their customers. My role at Vanguard was as a corrugated designer to assist the other designers in designing displays that fit around the customer's needs. Occasionally a customer would come in, more often than not with a product that is already packaged, and we would design a display that would contain a certain number of units, and to be able to have that, whether it's sitting on a counter, whether it's on a floor stand, or whether it's on an end cap, we would be able to accommodate the customer and build a display that fits their needs. Some of the classes that I took at UF, for example, the computer tools for packaging, really helped segue me into my internship. I kind of, so to speak, hit the ground running, and some of my knowledge of how these computer systems work and how that they integrate with machinery such as CAD tables and the like. And it really allowed me to be able to understand what the designers were saying when they were showing me what to do, and it allowed me to be able to catch on relatively quickly. My internship helped me learn a lot more about the packaging field by introducing me to many different multidisciplinary consumers and how they really want their product to be recognized. It really taught me a lot about when a product goes onto a shelf, what are the thoughts of the consumer goods company? How do they want their product to be viewed in the marketplace, and how can we serve to better assist them? This experience at the internship gave me a lot more excitement about my decision to go over into the packaging sciences. I'm very, very interested in packaging, not only from a food packaging standpoint, from flexible films to glass, but into corrugated as well. I really enjoyed the experience of being able to design corrugated materials, and it really gave me a lot of enjoyment and understanding from being able to take what I'm learning into my classes and being able to apply it to what goes on in the world around me. I think it's great what ICPF is doing with their website and how that they've got things structured. And for those students that are out there just seeking to get started, what do I do to get an internship? If I want to get one, I want to get some experience while I'm still an undergrad, I'd highly recommend that they contact ICPF and get involved in what they're doing, because it's a very, very good system to be able to get you started in your career. I came back from my internship with a lot of great enthusiasm for packaging and for my degree as a whole, and really, really excited to be able to graduate and move on to get out into the world and actually do this thing for real.
All right, we will now go to our panel speakers. The PowerPoints utilized will be available next week by emailing info@icpfbox.org. After the panel completes its presentation, we will then go to you, the college and university students out there, for your questions. I ask that during the panel session, faculty collaborate with your students to develop a question and a backup question in case another school asks your question ahead of you. Please write them down. Students will be immediately ready with your single question and identify the single person from the industry panel who you wish to answer the question. Both Tyler and I, who have recently joined the corrugated industry upon graduation, will also participate in answering the questions. The responses will need to be brief and concise to ensure that we get to all campuses. Speakers, please remember during the Q&A session to keep your responses brief and to the point. After your questions, we'll hold ICPF's 13th Best of the Best Student Design Presentation Competition. The first and second place winners of the 2013 AICC Student Corrugated Design Competition will compete for top cash prizes today. We also will tell you how to enter the 2014 AICC Student Design Competition, so stay tuned. Why has the corrugated industry thrived for more than 100 years as industries have slipped into oblivion? Corrugated is an agile, sustainable product. It does a whole lot more than simply protect products. It offers tremendous creative capabilities in meeting customers' packaging and display needs while minimizing impact on the environment. A graphic example of this is the hotly competitive retail market in which Corrugated has excelled in grabbing consumer attention and selling product. Coca-Cola actually told the Wall Street Journal that consumers respond more to the packaging than they do to the brand. That's power, and that is Corrugated in today's marketplace. Whether you are a packaging, graphic communications, business, supply chain, or marketing and sales student, you should know that careers in corrugated packaging and display are exciting, challenging, and rewarding. And it's only corrugated packaging that positively supports the environment. Our panelists will tell you more. First up is James Collier. James is Director of Salesforce Development for Timbar Packaging and Display that has its headquarters in Hanover, Pennsylvania. Timbar Packaging and Display has been leading independent manufacturer of corrugated packaging, POP displays, and retail packaging for more than 58 years. Timbar has approximately 800 employees and 11 facilities located primarily up and down the East Coast of the U.S. James joined Timbar in 2003 as a sales representative and later held the positions of sales manager and assistant general manager at the Miami, Florida, and Spartanburg, South Carolina facilities. James is a graduate of TCU in Fort Worth, Texas. James?
Thank you, Joe. I got to tell you, it's refreshing to be here in person and see the participation not only here but at all of the schools. For somebody who's been in the packaging business for 16 years, it's refreshing to see the excitement about the subject. I want to thank Richard Flaherty and the ICPF organization for the opportunity to be here and talk to you today about careers in corrugated from the independent perspective. But before I do that, I want to talk about why you would consider a career in corrugated. Not over 90% of all products shipped in the United States every year are shipped in corrugated packaging. And when you think about the breadth of those products, everything from shoes to clothing to backpacks, home goods, automobile parts, the opportunity that exists within the corrugated industry is substantial. In response to that demand, there are thousands of packaging manufacturing companies all across the country. And as such, to staff those packaging companies and to continue to innovate and create, we need many more young individuals with good thought, new thoughts and ideas about how we package and develop packaging solutions. There's a lot of opportunity for advancement in this career. I will speak from my perspective. In my 16 years, I've done customer service. I've been in quality, managed environmental health and safety, been in sales, sales management, plant management, and now my current position is Director of Salesforce Development. But also the bottom line is there's great earning potential in this business. It is a very long-lasting career, and the earning potential and the stability in this industry is very strong. But more importantly, what this industry allows for is creativity. We are an industry of problem solvers. And in order to do that, we have to be creative. And given the fact that we package everything from, as I mentioned, shoes to automobile parts, there are limitless opportunities for you to use your creative talent and then see that process from concept to completion. Not only designing it, but also see the process of manufacturing it, the process of selling it, and then delivering it and seeing it inside your customer's operations. And then also on the retail and POP packaging side, to be a part of developing brands and merchandising ideas. Develop a new product, help a company bring that to market and see it in the retail atmosphere. But the unique opportunity to be part of the full process is really a dynamic aspect of it. Let's think about where you want to go with your career. We talked about the number of corrugated manufacturing facilities across the country. The thing about corrugated is that it's not a product you can put on a truck and ship great distances. Typically, the rule of thumb is if you find a manufacturing facility, you draw a circle around that goes out about 150 to 200 miles. That's typically the extent of where you're going to ship to out of that particular facility. Well, that does two things. Number one, it's created across the country opportunities to be employed at manufacturing facilities. But secondarily, it has also created a connection with the community that those operations exist in. And your ability to impact that, not only as an employee of that manufacturing facility or that company, but also the people that you're doing business with are going to be right there in your company. The mom and pop size companies, the mid-sized companies, that's the majority of the folks that we do business with. So your ability to impact that community and is very special. And it also gives you an opportunity based on geography. You're in Michigan. Obviously, if you cannot get enough of this weather, then there's opportunities for you to stay here and enjoy this lovely weather that we're having. But if you decide for yourself that I want to leave here, I want to go to California, I want to go to Arizona, I want to go to Florida, there are those opportunities in this business, and they are many. Never before in our history have we paid more attention to or been more concerned about, rightfully so, our impact on the earth. And from a sustainability standpoint, corrugated is recyclable, it is renewable, and it is reusable. So from a product standpoint, in an industry, we have made great strides in our ability to be a sustainable industry. When you factor in that the average box contains about 43% recycled material, all the recycled material in old corrugated containers are reclaimed and used within the process. There are various organizations in our industry that ensure that we source our fiber for our paper from renewable resources, and that we continue to look at our industry not only promoting our product and helping other companies with their sustainability goals, but also making sure as an industry that we are doing a responsible thing and making sure that we are sustainable. In addition, we do a lot of work in our facilities in this industry in regard to energy consumption. We have a lot of very large equipment that uses a lot of energy, uses a lot of gas. Through lighting projects, through alternate drives and motors that we use in our processes, we have been able to reduce the amount of electricity and gas that we use in our operations, reducing our footprint and our impact to the environment. But also taking it down to a smaller level, all the waste within our system, down from office paper, from the strapping that we use, from pallets, finding alternative ways to use those products or recycle those products so that those do not go into the waste stream and ultimately into a landfill. So what is an independent corrugated company? Well, they are exactly what it sounds like. It is an independent company, typically started by an individual or group of individuals, maybe a family. They could be employee-owned through a ESOP program or employee stock option program, where employees of the company get stock shares in the company. They are typically privately held, and what that means is that the common stock or the ownership stake in the company is privately held by the group of owners. And they range from single locations to multiple locations across multiple states. There are typically two kinds of manufacturing facilities in the corrugated industry. There is a sheet plant. A sheet plant is a plant that only does converting of corrugated sheets. They do not have a corrugator inside the facility, so they buy the sheets that they convert on the open market. And then on the other side of that, you have corrugator plants that corrugate, take the liners and medium, corrugate the sheets, consume those internally, or they sell those to the open market to other sheet plants. But probably the thing that I would highlight the most from the independent side is the ability to be flexible. When you take the entrepreneurial spirit that really started these businesses, when you take that attitude and you take the fact that there tends to be less layers in an independent, there's a lot of opportunity, and we pride ourselves on the ability to mold our business to what the customer needs. A lot of times stepping outside of what we know best, which is corrugated, and offering other services, whether that's foam, whether that's plastic, whatever it is that our customers need. We like to say in the business that we love problems. As I mentioned before, we're an industry of problem solvers. And typically, the more difficult or stringent a customer's requirements are, the more difficult that the packaging solution is, the better an independent does. But it boils down to being responsive and being flexible with the customer. And then because the owners or the senior management of the company are typically involved day to day in the business, whenever there is a strategic decision that needs to be made to service customers, whether that's through capital, buying additional equipment, or whether that's doing some investment with a customer to help solve a packaging issue that they have, those decisions can be made very quickly. I'll talk about an independent company that I know very well. This is my company, Timbar Packaging and Display. Timbar was started nearly 60 years ago by two competing box salesmen. They had the idea that they could deliver a better solution, better service, and basically better supply their customer if they did it themselves. So they started a small little sheet plant in central Pennsylvania. And over the last 60 years, that has grown to 13 locations in 8 different states. We have the pleasure of employing over 900 people. I know Joe said 8. We grew 100 people in the time he introduced me and the time I started talking today. But in our system, we have 2 corrugator plants, one in Pennsylvania, one in Miami, and then 4 sheet plants. And we also have a very extensive retail packaging and point-of-purchase packaging business. This is a map that shows the locations of the different locations, and this is a mixture of converting plants, design and sales centers, such as the one outside of you see outside of Chicago there. There's Design Center in New York. But the footprint is typically out of the East Coast with our heaviest presence in the Northeast. So what is it like to work for an independent? Obviously, by our nature, we tend to be smaller business units with less layers. In that, in your jobs, typical job positions and job roles have a tendency to get blended into other things. Your responsibilities within the plant tend to get outside of what your normal job description would be. With that comes a lot of collaboration and a lot of discussion about, on a day-to-day basis, about how we service our customers. How do we develop solutions for those customers? But it gives a lot of opportunity to collaborate and a lot of opportunity for you as a member of that group to be heard. That your thoughts and ideas are important to that solution. And due to the fact that you're an integral part of taking care of that those are acted upon. And also, I mentioned before, due to the fact that the senior level management as well as owners of the business are typically involved in the business, there's not a lot of separation between you and them. They know who you are, they know what your impact is to the business, and they value you and your services to the company. Let's talk about some of the growing markets for corrugated. These tend to change, but I would highlight some that over the past few years have really seen the most dramatic growth in our business. Obviously, food would lead the way, and I would consider not only food manufacturing, but agriculture, row crops, especially with the importance of eating healthier, natural foods. That has become an even bigger part of the corrugated industry. Obviously, beverage, energy drinks, water. One of the markets that has grown significantly over the past 5 years that's impacted the Timbar's business is the craft beer market in the Northeast. That has grown substantially. And then, of course, health and beauty and pharmaceuticals and supplements. We look at the type of packaging that we do. Everybody's familiar with industrial packaging, your plain craft RSC. But boy, I always enjoy seeing a package from Amazon on my doorstep when I get home from work. Here's an example of some litho craft beer boxes. This is a mixed 12-pack as well as a 6-pack carton. If you've ever bought a product that is contained within a plastic clamshell, then you've also experienced the agony and frustration of trying to get that product out of it without cutting fingers off. Well, the corrugated industry has come up with their own version of that. It has a couple of benefits. It uses less plastic, and it's surrounded and enclosed by corrugated, so it's certainly a lot easier to get into. And then, of course, the really cool stuff, the multi-part, multicolor POP displays. This is one that was done for Hasbro, pallet display. It's a back-to-school pallet display for Crayola that was sold through an Office Max. And then other packaging products, protective packaging. When I talk about protective packaging, I talk specifically about foam, whether that's convoluted or die-cut foam, and then the marriage of foam and corrugated together. And then, of course, bulk packaging, triple wall bulk bins, things for agriculture, resin, things of that nature. When I talk about careers in this business, I want to start with sales and marketing, because nothing really begins until somebody sells something. But the experience, due to the fact that you have such a diverse product mix in this business, is very active. You might go in the morning from talking with a food manufacturer to someone who makes suntan lotion, to somebody who makes computers or electronics, to somebody who makes automotive parts. So your day and the product mix that you see is very diverse. Corrugated is a very competitive industry. We talked about how many different manufacturers there are in the country. So you have to be highly motivated and very driven individual. And you also have to be able to think strategically and look at target markets that align very well with the capabilities of the plant and the product that you have to offer. Design. This is probably my favorite area to talk about, because this is where the corrugated industry really delivers its value to the customer and sets itself apart from other packaging types. The designers that we have in this business are really the brain trust and really what generates the value to our customers, whether that's structural or graphic. They're the innovation leaders. And design is really where this industry is going to set the course for the next few decades. The talent and the innovation and the ideas of folks like yourself that come into this industry and show us how to do things differently and more effective and more cost effective is going to be critical for the continued growth of this industry. And then they'll also lead the way in sustainability through source reduction. The removal of interior packaging, the consolidation of multiple boxes to one, they lead the way in terms of helping us assist our customers in their sustainability goals. And then operations. There's a lot of moving parts in a box plant. There's manufacturing. There's trucking. How do we get things from here to there? Our information systems, computers. How do we talk to our customer? Quality, making sure that the standards that our customers expect and that we expect of ourselves are met. And then certainly the financial end of the business. And then human resources. It's very important for us to think about, as a company, our engagement with employees and associates, and making sure that as an employer, that we're fulfilling the obligation to our employees and giving them the career experience that they want. Technology has changed the world over the past 10 years, and it certainly has not left out the corrugated industry. Through lighter weight papers, through machinery that has been developed, through making us more efficient, making us more lean, giving us the ability to do things that we would not have historically been able to do. Obviously, digital printing has changed the graphic end of the business significantly. I think that will continue to increase going forward, and that technology will be used even more. And then product traceability. Companies being able to trace their products in the supply chain, understand where they are, understand inventory levels, because the box has the ability to tell the customer that. And then the impact of social media. How we talk and market our products, how do we talk to our customers, how do we make connections with the people that we want to do business with, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, any number of those avenues to do that. But what I really hope that you get out of this is not why you would consider the corrugated industry for employment, but that you would understand that this industry provides a unique opportunity to pull on your creative ability, your talents, your hardworking ability, and your innovation to change the way that we do things. So my hope is that you will look at this industry and figure out and think about what your impact could be, because the opportunities presented by this industry are great. I appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Our next speaker is David Sikoski. David is the Executive Director of Human Resources and Organizational Development for Packaging Corporation of America, PCA, where I interned at. PCA's corrugated packaging business has a network of 6 containerboard mills and 98 converting plants. PCA also has 3 white paper mills that produce imaging papers for office and home printing, headquartered just outside of Chicago in Lake Forest. This publicly traded company employs over 13,000 with annual revenues of $5.5 billion. David joined PCA as a field employee relations manager in 1995. He earned a master's degree in human resources and industrial relations from Loyola University in Chicago. David?
Thanks very much, Tyler. Appreciate it. Good morning, Spartans. It's great to be back on the campus of Michigan State. What a great football season, huh? I'll tell you, Big Ten champs, Rose Bowl champs, unbelievable. My wife is a Spartan, so I'll tell you, we were glued to the set. Unfortunately, we didn't make the trip out west. But interestingly enough, Saturday morning, I was on a flight out to Los Angeles, and Mark D'Antonio and his wife were on the flight. What a nice guy, great guy. And I got to tell you, he still has a Rose Bowl victory smile on his face wherever he goes. So anyway, hey, great to be with you today. I am going to talk to you today about the integrated's perspective. What is an integrated versus an independent? Kind of give you a flavor for both. Both are great career opportunities for you, but it just kind of gives you life from both sides. Why the corrugated industry? You know, James touched upon so much of it, but it's just exploding. I can't even begin to tell you my 19 years with PCA, what I'm seeing, but this industry is just going crazy. And, you know, if you look at a $25 billion a year industry, that's pretty rock solid. There's an awful lot going on with that. You look at the number of facilities, you look at the growth, you look at the technology, you look at the careers, on and on and on. I mean, it's just going gangbusters. And the market just keeps changing and growing. Great example of that over the Christmas season. Of course, the retailers are clutched. You know, all the manufacturers are clutched. Everybody's got to get it to market, get it to market. Let's get the sale. It's got to be a very, very important time for retailers, the most important time of the year. And it was a short season, because the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas was a very shortened period of time. And the analysts were clutched. They were so worried. They were so concerned. The sales aren't there. We're not making enough money. There is not enough sales, and everybody was very worried. However, how many of you in the room are sort of last-minute shoppers? How many of you kind of wait till the last minute before you go shopping for Christmas presents? A few of you? A few of you? But that last week, something incredible happened. Something remarkable happened with regard to the retail industry and the Christmas season. People flocked to the purchasing segment. There was an overwhelming success with the retail system. However, unlike years of old, when people would get in their cars and they would drive to the mall, what do you think happened? Online. People clicked on their computers, hit the purchase button, and expected the items to be delivered, okay? The internet, it's so cool, it's so easy. However, what happened next was something kind of interesting. All of the major shippers in this country started having corrugated box after corrugated box after corrugated box after corrugated box ending up on their doorstep, and they're like, holy smokes, we are being inundated, we're being overwhelmed. Ultimately, they didn't have enough trucks to even get this stuff to Grandma's house in time for Christmas, and a lot of people were really upset. But on the corrugated end, we were smiling because we sold an awful lot of boxes. And that's just one example of how the times they are changing. The market is changing. Corrugated is exploding. Some fun facts about corrugated. The average American uses 749 pounds of paper and paper products each year. That's pretty amazing. But you know, what's really cool is that we are all very focused on conservation. We're all focused on our green initiatives. And nowhere better does that prove out than when you go down your street on trash day. Think about trash day today versus when you were a kid, and look at all the recycling containers that are out at the street. Look at the week after Christmas, the day after Christmas pickup. It looks like unbelievable. I don't know if your street's like my street, holy mackerel. There are tons and tons of old corrugated containers sitting out there waiting to be what? Recycled, exactly. So what's happened is we've taken a great approach to conservation. We've taken a great approach to recycling. And this industry, the forest industry, where it all starts with the fiber, with the trees, is creating jobs like we've never seen before. 2 billion plus trees are planted in the U.S. by the Forestry Service and our planning and landowners and government agencies every year. Does that surprise you? I'm going to tell you, I have a 4th grade daughter, and Annie said to me, Dad, I want you to come to Career Day with me. And I said, well, certainly. I'd love to go to Career Day with you, Annie. So I'm sitting there at Career Day, and there's the fireman, there's the policeman, and the kids are really thinking that's cool. And so here comes Dave, the human resources person. Of course, Annie's proud, and kids are like, what does a human resource person do? But I said, well, let me tell you a little bit about our company. Our company makes paper. We make corrugated boxes. And the teacher said, oh. Of course, the Lorax had just come out, so it really didn't help me in this process. She said, you cut down trees. You really, really harm the forests. And I said, no, you don't get it. We don't kill the forests. We don't kill the trees. We harvest the trees. And see, it's part of the educational process because people think we're going into the redwood forest and cutting down the redwoods to make paper, and that's just not right. That's not it. So as we look at this process, today, a remarkable statistic is through our conservation efforts as an industry, 20% more trees exist on U.S. soil today than did 40 years ago for the first Earth Day celebration. How cool is that? I mean, that speaks volumes for the responsibility of our industry. The integrated structure is one, we're large, okay? We have paper mills and converting plants on a very, very large scale. The majority of our companies, not all of us, but the majority, are publicly traded. So we have access to investor funding. So what happens is you've got tremendous internal support and resources. Not only that, but you've got plants all over the place. So to James' point, I mean, do you want to be in LA? Do you want to be in East Lansing? Do you want to be in Florida? I mean, wherever you want to be, chances are, if you work for an integrated, you're going to have that opportunity. And that's really cool because not only can things fit for you now where you want to be geographically, but as you start your career, as you get things going, as you get excited about a company, it's going to be there for you wherever you want to be in the future geographically. The work environment is very cool. It's changing on the integrated side. The old days of the top-down, the centralized sort of leadership and management has changed. In the integrated system, plants and plant management have become much more entrepreneurial. You got to react to the customer. You got to be there with the customer. You got to know what the customer wants. You got to be responsive to what the customer wants, and you got to collaborate. And what we always say in the industry is the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Please tell me about your needs. And it all starts from there, and then it goes on. The collaboration, the customer focus, that's what makes the job fun. No matter what you do, it's that part of the team, the spirit, that gets things going, that makes you excited, that makes each day fun and different. There's so many different career paths. James touched upon it. I'm going to touch upon some others coming into this, but I can't even begin to tell you, no matter what floats your boat, no matter what your focus, your interest, it's going to be there for you in this industry. It's professionally challenging. It is not a dull industry. It is fast-paced, it's ever-changing, and I will tell you, your days will fly by. You will look at your watch and say, holy smokes, I can't believe this day has gone so fast. And that is a good thing. About the marketplace, we are changing. Okay? As integrateds, you see a consolidation, and that's a great thing for everyone in this room. That's a great thing for everyone who's looking for careers because it creates more and more opportunity, more and more resources as we collaborate. Our company, for example, the one I work for, Packaging Corporation of America, we just acquired Boise Inc. We were 8,500 employees at the beginning of October last year. Now we have 13,000 employees. And we're currently the 4th largest manufacturer of containerboard and corrugated packaging. Our operations are pretty vast. We have 98 converting plants, 6 containerboard mills. As Travis was saying, Tyler was saying 16 packaging facilities with design, creative centers, technical centers. I mean, you name it, coast to coast, and even some facilities in Europe, Mexico, and Canada. we have opportunities just like all of the integrateds. If I were to take maps of all the other integrated companies and layer that over this existing map, you're going to see similar geographic opportunities across the country and worldwide. So, touching upon and following up with what James said, why is corrugated taking off? Why is it so popular? Why is this such a popular form of packaging? Well, we have to be environmental stewards, and that sells well. It's the right thing. Retailers look to that. Our customers look for that. Our consumers look for that. It's a green initiative, and it's sustainable. And we look at the carbon footprint, and there are a lot of major retailers out there driving these initiatives, but we're all following suit because it's the right thing to do. It's what we need to be doing. We need to manage our forestry. There again, look at continuously recycling. Look at our education. How do we educate that teacher that I talked about in the classroom, which we're now friends now, but anyway. And we plant the tree, and that's part of the importance of the Lorax and the recycling. How can you be competitive in this industry? You know, culture drives success. And in the integrateds, we relentlessly focus on the customer, as I mentioned. You got to be nimble, you got to be flexible, you got to have principled leadership. In the old days, we would take surveys of our employees. We would say, are you satisfied in the job? Okay. Well, what does satisfied really mean? What does a satisfaction survey really tell you? Some people would say, I'm satisfied if you pay me more money. Some people would say, I'm satisfied if you give me more time off. Some people would say, I'm satisfied for this, that, or the other thing. But at the end of the day, what you really want to look at is how are you engaging your employees? Not how satisfied, but how engaged are they? When they come to work every day, do they know what's going on with the customer? Do they know what's happening with this particular product that went out the door? Do they know how their job, how what they do day in and day out impacts the big picture? You got to be nimble, we got to be flexible, we got to look at relentless focus on that customer. One of the things that we do, and a lot of integrateds have done now, is there's greater presence, there's a greater voice for people throughout the organization to senior leadership. I'll give you an example. Whenever in my company I'm in a position where I have a new group of trainees, people going through an orientation program, and I bring them to our corporate office in Lake Forest, or I'm teaching a leadership training class and I have people from the field and they're brought together to our corporate offices, I always have a request from our CEO, Mark, to have an audience with this group, with these groups. And time again, these groups will sit down in the CEO's office and he wants to hear from them. He wants to know what they're thinking, what they're feeling. How cool is that? And that's not just PCA, but that's happening throughout the integrated system. Leaders want to hear from you. They want to know. They want to have access to you. They want you to have access to them. And what that does is it makes for a much more flexible, nimble, and competitive integrated system. So are you ready to grow in this industry? Do you want to be in this industry? Well, as an integrated employee, what happens is you can develop your skills very quickly. You know, you can collaborate with the customers. You learn so much what's going on out there because of the resources and the teaching. In the integrated system, I know with my company, we have leadership development systems. We have all different types of leadership academies and training programs. But throughout the integrated system, there are university programs in-house. And what's really cool is for those of you who are getting ready to graduate with your baccalaureate degrees and you say, you know, I want to go on further. I want to take additional courses. I want to get a master's degree. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's expensive, isn't it? It's really expensive. But on the integrated side, to pursue further education, to pursue your career development, these are opportunities on the large integrated side for tuition reimbursement programs and things that, like myself, paid for my master's degree. And then from those educational opportunities, you are able to give back to the company in your career development. Pretty cool stuff. So what can you create? What does this mean? Well, we see on the screen now, you know, paper making machine. It's a roller coming off a machine. If you get involved in a paper mill, great, fantastic opportunities. You may be involved with a plant and manufacturing of point-of-purchase displays or RSCs. You don't know which customer day in and day out you're going to be helping. In this picture, we see farmers, farm packing, field packing apples. These are a few products from our company, but they're not unlike what a lot of our competitors and others in the integrated industry will have for different examples of creative packaging, always focusing on the customer. What can we do to take care of the customer's needs? I think what's really cool is as it starts with the sales team. It starts with the conversation with the customer. It starts with that design to think outside the box continually. Here's one of our designers, and she's working on something for thinking outside the box, something for a vineyard, and looking at protective packaging for wine. And that's just one example, but I find time and time again when I walk into the plants and I have a chance to talk to designers, it's so cool because there's always a collaborative process. There's a salesperson in there, there's a production person in there, there is a designer, and they're going over it. And I'll tell you, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then certainly a sample is worth 1,000,000 words. And that really is so cool. Regional design centers have become a big part of what the integrateds have done as well. So it's not just a plant design center, but how are you going to sell on a national level and support national sales, national accounts? And creative design takes place in those facilities as well. Technical and development services, do you want to get involved with technical stuff? You walk into technical centers in our industry, they're breaking stuff, they're crushing stuff, they're pulling stuff apart, they're checking stuff. It's so cool. It's like this tornado going on all the time, and they're communicating with the paper mills and communicating with the box plants, and they're finding out what makes things work better and better and better. But at the end of the day, it's kind of how do you add value? This is an example of a typical meeting that would be going on in an integrated system. You have a sales rep, you have a customer service manager, you have a production manager, and you have a quality manager, and everybody's working together to say, what is it that we're doing to help the customer? How can we add value? So through that, we may be out visiting that customer may be coming into our facilities, we may have our employees go out there. We may bring their employees into our facility. Sales and marketing, what floats your boat? Some people say, you know, I really don't want to be in a box plant. I want to be out on the road. I want to be selling, and that's really cool. So if you want to do something like that, great. We have opportunities in our industry throughout for sales and marketing. Production leadership. Take a look at some of these pictures and look at this facility. The lighting is bright. The facilities are clean. We are now held to such a higher standard through the drive and the expectations of our customers, and that is a great thing. The same companies that go out, the American Institute of Baking and the like, that go out and inspect food manufacturing facilities for cleanliness, et cetera, are the same companies that are coming in and looking at our facilities and saying, how clean are those facilities? What do they look like? So you see these well-lighted, clean facilities, and we're investing back into these facilities again and again with the best and the most incredible equipment. But I would say to you this, kind of in closing, is what career do you want to create for yourself? Where do you want to go with your career? I look around me at the integrated system and I see senior leadership left and right, all different types of situations, from executive vice presidents, area vice presidents, general managers, national account sales managers, and they all came right out of college. Tremendous opportunities right out of college to move up the career ladder. At the end of the day, when you make these decisions, you always have a choice to see how things are going. I had a woman that started in sales. She really liked sales. She thought, geez, this is going to be perfect for me. And what she found was, you know, I love this company and I love the people I work with, but I'm not so great in sales. So what does that mean for me? And what it meant for her was I put her in customer service, and she does great. She's doing great. And then there was another person in customer service said, you know, I really, really want to try my hand in production management. And so I put that person in production management, and they're doing great. So you can move around, you can shift in this industry, regardless of whether or not you choose a career with an independent or you choose a career with an integrated company. I highly encourage you to choose a career in this industry. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Getting back to the environmental issue that you were mentioning, I saw a statistic a couple of years ago that indicated that we have more forest land now, in large part because of the paper and packaging industry, than we did in 1955. So that's a very positive factor. Now we get to the point where you, the students from the different campuses, can ask questions. And we ask that you develop at least one question. Each campus has the opportunity to ask one question, but also develop a backup question in case the campus before you asks a similar question. Speakers, please keep your responses concise. And as we go through the questions, if you'll identify who you want to answer your question, that will be helpful as well. We'll proceed alphabetically. Appalachian State, are you out there?
Yes, we are, and Eddie Anderson will be asking the question on our behalf. Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right, thanks. My question is, what is being done to make packaging more reusable or sustainable right now?
Do you want David or James to answer that?
Sure, David.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think technology is really taking over. We're constantly looking at the fiber structure of paper. We're looking at how the box itself is being designed. And I think we're continually looking at ways that we can take fiber out of a particular product while maintaining the integrity and the strength of the product. And I think that lies in a lot of creativity with our technical group, with our operations and production people, and that's an ongoing process. So great question, but it is a daily process as far as examination, and as an industry, we've made great strides and headway in that area.
Thank you, David. Also, just a reminder that Joe and Tyler, who are co-moderators, are here to answer questions as well. So in addition to James and David, you might want to think of questions for them. Bowling Green State University, are you there?
Hi. My name is Allie Miller, and I have a question for David. First off, I'd like to say go Blackhawks. And secondly, the question, what area within your company, such as design, structural, customer service, sales, etc., is the hardest area to find high-quality employees? And could you please provide us with any examples or practices your company uses to recruit and retain that talent?
Yeah, you know, it's as we go forward, I think that as we look at the marketplace, we are, in the old days, probably looking for the experience more than we were, say, someone coming right out of college. And with that practice, we found that it was not probably as effective as we could have been. And what we're doing now is we are revisiting and looking at fresh college graduates as an opportunity for us to blend our recruiting efforts with existing individuals. So I think that as we move forward as a corporation, there are so many opportunities and so many avenues. And of course now, as we're going through a major integration, going from 8,500 to 13,000 employees, those opportunities for growth and advancement and different types of career paths become greater and greater.
Thank you, David. Cal Poly, are you there? And what is the temperature?
Yeah, we're here. So our question is for Tyler, and it is, what kind of technical skills do you guys need to start a career in Corrugated?
Kind of technical skills? Do you need to have a career in corrugated? Well, I had multiple internships, so I've been through design, I've been through packaging engineering, so I've worked, sales reps have actually came to me and asked me, look for cost-saving initiatives. So I've had both spectrums, and I'm now in sales, so I have that as well. I also had lab tech training for ASTM standards and stuff like that. So I think just having a good base knowledge of everything in packaging, and you can really apply yourself in the corrugated industry with that. And I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Tyler. That was good. Also, as you know, not only is the industry recruiting graduates from the packaging engineering programs across the country, but also through they're hiring marketing majors, public relations that go into sales. So there's a lot of diversity of opportunity within the industry, not just for packaging engineers and designers and graphic designers, structural designers, but across the board. We need the same type of professional going into this industry as many other industries need. So please keep that in mind. Dunwoody College in Minneapolis.
We got a question for you. When does it make sense to use F-flute or micro-flute as opposed to paperboard in folding carton design?
Let's ask that of James.
Okay. That's a great question. We in the corrugated industry typically use F-flute and the micro-flutes in replacement of, and I'll speak from an independent side, we don't manufacture folding carton or press board. So in those applications where traditionally folding carton would be used, that's really the ability for us to have a solution for that. But also where, graphics is very important. The micro-flute, E-flute, all of those substrates create a nice printing surface. So that might also be an alternate use for the micro-flute as well.
Thank you, James. I'd like to go back to Clemson. Clemson, are you out there?
Yes, we are. Evidently, China is starting to grow and harvest a lot more trees. How do you think this will affect the U.S. market for market pulp?
Well, is someone prepared to answer that?
No, I'd just like to say that the number one export to China is OCC, old corrugated containers, to my knowledge. Yeah. So, yeah.
And one of the unique aspects of the industry is that it's so regionally specific. It's very expensive to ship corrugated or paper materials from one market to another. For example, if you're packaging auto components in Detroit, you don't want to have to have your packaging shipped from Atlanta. So you like to use local facilities. And that's why across the United States, there are all these career opportunities in all these major markets. So virtually anywhere you look where there's manufacturing or items that have to be shipped, you'll find our plants. Illinois State University.
Yes, this question's for James. Has the increase in recycled content in corrugated board changed the structural design or graphic design workflow for packaging?
I think there's been a lot of strides made in, especially with how much growth Pratt has experienced using 100% recycled material. I would say that there are still strength characteristics differences. You typically would need to use heavier liners in medium in the recycle aspect or that design in manufacturing to equal the strength of what would be considered a virgin liner. But that technology, the gap in that technology is certainly shrinking significantly. And you're seeing a lot more even in the independents and in the integrated world, I would say, using more recycled content, higher portion of recycled content, and then even 100% recycled content boards. That's a good question, but that gap's narrowing significantly. Technology's getting better.
Thank you, James. Lewis Clark State College in Idaho.
Yes. Hello, thank you.
Hello.
Our question is for Joe. we would like to ask you, what was your biggest surprises going into your new field, and how did that change from coming and studying here at LCSC?
Well, being just from the graphic design program, and we didn't have the packaging program built up yet, and just taking as many classes as I could with that, it was a big change because we don't do graphics where I work yet, and so it's just learning more and more each day with the packaging software and from the other designer and from the salespeople that are very knowledgeable. So it's a good experience so far.
And he loves the weather. He said he left 88 degrees.
Yeah.
So, Michigan State University. I have to say this. Go green. Go green. That's cool. Does someone have a question for us?
Yes. My question for David. Could you explain to us what the difference between being integrative and being innovative is?
Wow. I really, really believe that they're starting to go hand in hand. I really believe that it's becoming more and more one and the same. The integrated is truly becoming more and more innovative through the depth of resources. I think you saw that one depiction slide where I showed the integration of so many major players in the market, International Paper acquiring so many different companies over the last few years, PCA acquiring Boise Inc. All of this has really lent itself to a blending and a merger of tremendous talent. So hidden secrets perhaps are now being revealed, things are being shared, there's a better and better understanding and better technology, I think, and I just think it makes the integrateds much more responsive and innovative going forward. I think it really strengthens every opportunity for us. Yeah.
Thank you, David. Millersville University, Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yes. My name is Chris Mordavancy, and this question is for James. How do you enforce quality control with such a large volume of material going out of every single plant?
It starts with the process and making sure that you've got a sound process in your manufacturing side, and really actually all the way through the business, from customer service to design to manufacturing, making sure that that process is in place, that people are trained on that process, that it's followed, and then it's audited on a regular basis to make sure that there are no breakdowns. And when there are instances of nonconformity or quality issues within the business, it's understanding what's created that, and then why did our process miss that, and continuing to adapt the process to make sure that that's taken out of the stream. But it's really about having a process, making sure everybody understands it, and then everybody follows it. But that's a great question. With the amount of volume that goes through a box plant, and some of the inherent characteristics of corrugated, it's important to have a very strict process to follow.
Thank you, James. RIT.
Hi. I have a question for Dave. Our question was, do you notice a difference in quality of corrugated board coming from imported products? And how do you guys take this into consideration when that board from the other countries is being incorporated within their cycle stream?
I'll take a stab at that. I understand your question. The integration of packaging coming, our company will take packaging that's done overseas and integrate that with packaging that we're doing for retail and point of purchase sale. It's difficulty due to the difference in processes and differences of control, but the paper and the quality of the product that comes in from overseas does not necessarily match up with what's created domestically, which does create issues. I hope that answered your question, but it does create its own issues. You got to have a real tight process between yourself and the folks doing the manufacturing overseas.
Thank you, James. Rutgers.
Corrugated boxes have been made out of the same material for several years. So are there any innovations happening in the corrugated industry in terms of the material?
That's a good question. I think either one of you can answer.
I would say that the difference of materials really probably has to do within the paper. I mean, we are a paper industry after all. There are alternative materials like plastic corrugated, things of that nature, but in our business, we really focus strictly on paper. So the innovation is really in taking, as we talked about, source reduction, using less raw material in the process of making paper, but keeping the strength characteristics, keeping the printability of that product, and making sure it performs in the marketplace, but uses less resources.
And that's where structural designers come in large play as far as reducing the amount of fiber by designing packaging that's very efficient. Certainly, when you're making the paper, you're looking at the different blends of virgin fiber versus recycled fiber. So that's something that the industry has made tremendous advances in. Also, in regard to using various coatings for shipping food, the use of certain glues that can be recycled. So those are all new innovations in the industry that are going further as far as research. Ryerson University.
Yes, this is a question for James. How often and what type of new technology do companies invest in to stay competitive?
I hope if you want to remain competitive, you do that quite often. There's been a lot of change in equipment related to the corrugated industry, although the industry still uses the same processes. The type of equipment, the capabilities of the equipment that allow us to be more efficient, operate at a higher speed in keeping our tolerances. Things related to folding and gluing, things that we would have been a manual process prior to that, has also helped to make us a lot more competitive. But there's a lot of technology coming out now, especially with some of the machines like the EVOL, some of the things that Bobst has done, that has allowed us to do more innovative things with packaging, and that certainly will continue. But that needs to be a constant investment by a company to remain competitive in this industry.
University of Florida. Florida? Let's go to University of Texas, Arlington.
Okay, I have a question for James. At what point in the packaging development process is sustainability first discussed?
From the very beginning. You have to start with understanding what your customers' sustainability goals are. And then you've got to relate that to how you develop the packaging and how that fits in with their sustainability goals. Sustainability, even though we've been in the corrugated industry, I would argue in the sustainability business for over 100 years, customers now are having to respond to the goals and sustainability initiatives of the people that buy their product or their end-use customers. That flows back into the manufacturer to us to understand what are those goals, and then developing the package around not only meeting our sustainability initiatives, but that of the customer and the end-use market.
Thank you. University of Wisconsin, Stout.
Hi, this is Shelby Basil. I have a question probably more for James. And with flexible packaging being such a big, innovative thing right now, do you see that as a threat to the organization?
No. That's a good question. I don't know. There's so many applications for corrugated, and it's still such a cost-effective way to transport things. I don't know at this point that flexible packaging would overtake. One of the issue with flexible packaging is it's susceptible to shifts in raw material costs that corrugated is not. So that's really going to be the success of flexible packaging is really going to be determined by markets that are outside of their control, and that fluctuates quite a bit, which makes it difficult for that to be a consistent commodity or consistent way to package things. But that's an interesting question. It'll be interesting to see going forward how that plays out.
Thank you. Virginia Tech.
Yeah, our question is for Tyler. We were wondering, now that you're in the workforce, what are some skills you recommend us to focus on developing while we are still in school that will help us be successful in the corrugated industry?
Well, I guess it really depends on which field you're going to go into. I decided on sales, so I would focus on the marketing course that you have to take. Definitely pay attention to that, because that would be a great use. I mean, it's really just, I don't know, be focused. I don't know. It's what to tell you, but sorry.
That's okay. I think what Tyler was saying earlier was that if you establish a good foundation, if you have a good foundation in those engineering skills that are being taught at Virginia Tech, and as far as developing your communication skills and with marketing courses and other courses where you're working on those communication skills, that's helpful as well. I want to thank you for your questions, and we look forward to the competition that's coming up next.
All right. Remember, if you're interested in a job in our industry, go to the ICPF website, careersandcorrugated.org, to search job openings and post your resume on the career portal, where corrugated packaging firms seek both students for internships and upcoming graduates for full-time positions. It really works. And now it's time for our student design presentation competition with cash prizes. It's a battle among 3 student teams from Ryerson University in Canada, Dunwoody College of Technology in Minneapolis, and University of Texas, Arlington. This is ICPF's 13th annual Best of the Best Student Design Presentation Competition. Among last year's first and second place winners in AICC Design to an Opportunity, we have asked those students to show, tell, and sell their entry as they would to a prospective customer. Each team is limited to 5 minutes. Our judges will select the first place, second place, and third place winners. They will judge on presentation content, presentation skills, and design. Each team will receive a cash prize. The Design to an Opportunity student winners were asked to design a structure and graphics that created a multi-product vendor display that incorporated at least 2 different brands or products. The teams were allowed to design a multi-product display that had a theme of their own choice.
Let's go straight to Ryerson University. Team consisting of Michael Wu, Alex Wong, and Scott Morgan. This student team in Toronto, Canada will now show, tell, and sell us on their design, Mio Rio. Ryerson, are you ready?
We are. Yes. We're ready.
Take it away.
Okay, hi, my name is Scott Morgan, and along with me I have Michael Wu and Alex Wong, and we're here with our Mio Rio point of purchase display, which we designed for the AICC Design to an Opportunity competition. Now we are tasked at marketing 2 products while being themed to an event and fitting a 20 by 24 inch floor space. Now when designing our POP, we wanted to keep it easy to recognize, open, shelf, shop, and dispose.
So right over here is our display. It stands at about 5.5 feet tall, and you can notice that its large presence makes it very easy to recognize. The display comes in a package that's shipped flat. This makes it easy to manufacture and distribute. This reduces the costs associated with distribution and finishing. For instance, manufacturers will save money on not having to worry about gluing and folding. These processes, it makes it much more logical to ship this flat, as opposed to having it pre-assembled due to the sheer size difference of those 2. You can definitely fit more units per shipping truck in this way. When the POP display arrives at its retailing location, the retailer would just have to go through a simple supplementary instruction manual that will help them to build up the display.
As you can see, our point of purchase display features 2 cascading shelves for the primary product, Mio Beverage Enhancers. The shelves are designed to harmonize with Mio's existing retail-ready packaging, which currently holds 6 units per package. We've designed each shelf to hold 1 row of 4 retail-ready packages, totaling up to 48 Mio units per display. This is to ensure that the product is always close to the consumer, making it easy for them to see, touch, and purchase the product. This lower shelving area over here allows our secondary product, reusable water bottles, to be shelved either from the front or the back. But since this is a corrugated packaging competition, we encourage the use of a retail-ready package that doubles as a shipping container. so our secondary product can be transported, opened, and shelved into this area like so. As you can see, everything in our display is visible and easily accessible within arm's reach for the consumer, making for an easy shopping experience. Our point of purchase display is large, the graphics are bold, and there's a clear call to action message that is visible from a far distance.
So our point of purchase display is consisted of graphic liner board and C-flute corrugated paper material. The graphics on our prototype is done through digital printing processes, but for a full-scale production environment, flexographic and lithographic liner board can be used, and the structure can be made and assembled through a corrugator. And since our display is made out of paper-based materials only, the whole structure can be recycled through a single material recovery chain, where it is de-inked and then the material is renewed into different products. Disassembly of this display is just as simple as assembling it, if not easier. We have a very intuitive use of slots and inserts.
So that essentially sums up how our point of purchase display is easy to recognize, open, shelf, shop, and dispose. Now, we branded with an Olympic theme in mind because of their great international presence and the wide audience that they connect to. Now, the Olympics generally last about 3 weeks, with many companies choosing to promote early to gain additional exposure. Now, we aren't directly affiliated with Mio, but we chose their branding due to their relevance with the sports line. Now, we also chose to market reusable water bottles in addition to support sustainability, and we hope to cut back on the conventional use of the single-use plastic water bottles. Now, the branding on the bottle itself, we hope to view as a collector's item, so we hope that can be used to build positive relationships with our consumers.
In addition to all these great features, our point of purchase design has great opportunities for consumer engagement and success measurability through cross-media marketing. For example, quick response barcode technology can be inserted into each one of these promotional water bottles, directing the consumer to a personalized internet landing page where they can be engaged in different activities, games, and prizes for extra purchase incentives. This allows marketers to learn more about the consumer and also track web analytics for research and development. This is just one example. There are many other possibilities, but our point of purchase display is versatile enough to fit different brands, products, and events as required.
So that concludes our presentation, and we wanted to thank everyone for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryerson. Do you think this might be good for the resumes? You bet. That's why all of you out there should plan to enter the AICC 2014 competition. Deadline is June 20th, and you can go to the ICPF or AICC websites to learn more about the competition. Each of the schools and students with us today should consider competing.
Now let's go to the Dunwoody College of Technology team consisting of Donna Eink, Melissa Racemius, and Jake Wondra. This team in Minneapolis, Minnesota will explain why we should buy their design. Radiance Lifeguard Chair. Dunwoody, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
All right, it's all yours.
Hello, I'm Jake.
I'm Donna. I'm Melissa.
We represent Dunwoody College of Technology in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 2013 was the very first year that Dunwoody entered the AICC Student Corrugated Packaging Design Display Competition. During this presentation, we will explain the objective, our procedure, and how our design meets the 5 Easies.
The objective of the challenge was to design a floor display, a freestanding, multi-product, event-themed, quarter pallet size floor display. Specifically, it needed to be designed for retail readiness. This is a set of standards referred to as the 5 Easies. They've been agreed upon by stakeholders in the industry, including manufacturers, retailers, and packaging companies. And when taken together, the 5 standards define the philosophy of retail readiness.
The 5 Easies are easy to identify, easy to open, easy to stock, easy to shop, and easy to dispose. I'm going to show you how our display meets these standards while Donna and Jake explain a little about each one.
Although the 5 Easies are pretty self-explanatory, they do translate to time saved and therefore money saved. There are, however, a few key points.
First, easy to identify. This one is all about eliminating wasted time by making it quick and easy to accurately be placed into backroom storage, and then obviously taken from the back room when it's time to get it onto the sales floor. Our display comes in a shipper that is clearly marked on all 4 sides and the top. The label includes our original logo and product descriptions and SKU numbers. Secondly, easy to open. This is important that it be fast and easy for retail staff to open. Our shipper, the top just lifts off, reveals clear graphic instructions, and then it slips off the top and the display lifts off the base.
Easy to stock and set up. This includes being able to move from the backroom storage room to the sales room floor with little to no problems while maintaining its strength and integrity. Our display is pre-stocked and ready to assemble by one person in 2 minutes or less, right on the sales room floor.
Then, easy to shop. This is the only one of the easies that involves the shopper. And this is all about convenience of the shelves being placed at comfortable shopping heights, as well as the hangers for the sunglasses. So during our design process, key considerations were the heights that the shelves were placed at, as well as how many sides of the display are accessible. Our display was designed to be accessible for shopping from all sides. And lastly, easy to dispose of. Our chair, all the components easily separate, and everyone is 100% recyclable.
Now that you've heard how we've met the 5 E's of retail readiness, we will explain our design process while you watch a folding animation of all the parts and components.
First, we brainstormed products and themes. Once we decided on a spring break theme to market sunscreen and sunglasses, we sketched ideas for the structure of the display. We decided to do the lifeguard chair design because of its originality. We didn't want it to look like anything we had seen before, and also because it's designed to be stable and hold a lot of product. Then we gave careful consideration to our color palette and our font choices in a way to best convey the whole spring break feeling, carefree and casual, upbeat and fun. Also during our process, we took the time to visit a local expert in package and display design. While we were there, we covered a little bit about the basics of display design, but more importantly, we were urged to incorporate curves and organic shapes into our design, if at all possible. And this proved to be absolutely motivational in the design of the chair. Thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed seeing the Radiance Lifeguard Chair as much as we enjoyed creating it.
Thank you, Dunwoody. For our third contestant, we go to University of Texas Arlington for the student team consisting of Holly Aldridge, Ayla Haynes, and Cosme Olivas. They will explain why we should buy their design, Augustus B. Circus. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, we're from the University of Texas at Arlington, and we created the point of purchase display for Augustus B. Circus. I'm Ayla. I created the hand-generated type.
I'm Holly, and I was in charge of illustrations.
And I'm Cosme, and I focused on the design of the structure.
Augustus B. Circus is sustainable, easily assembled, while still being fun, playful, and attention-grabbing. Our main goal, though, was to be as creative as possible in all aspects of the design. So, in order to maximize sustainability, very little adhesive was used. Only a 1-inch strip of adhesive was used on the base, the center axle, and the header. It's made of 100% recyclable B-flue corrugated material measuring 5 by 8 feet. We used 100% of the structure to showcase our products and to advertise the event. Because our display is viewable from all angles, we made sure not to waste any space or material.
Since creativity was our main goal, all of the type and illustrations were hand-generated to reinforce the unique experience of a circus. The products we made were mustache lollipops and bags of popcorn, which appeal to both children and adults. The display is a 6-foot-tall carousel and is designed to have a presence in the store which children will be drawn to and their parents will follow. We kept this in mind, so we made the base 36 inches tall. That way small children would be unable to grab the products. Just like the circus, everything is fun, everything is unique, and it's an experience.
Like Ayla and Holly said, we really wanted to be creative on all aspects of the project with a sustainable approach while making everything functional. Starting with the bottom, you can see that the base consists of 3 parts. The top and the bottom hold the main body together and create support for the entire display. It all comes together by simply inserting the tabs into appropriate places and snapping it into place. The rest of the display is assembled by using the main axle support that goes through the center of the base and interlocks with the layer inside, keeping it upright and not wobbling around. The rest of the display is also assembled in the same interlocking method, putting the shelves and the header through the top, bringing it down, rotating it, and locking it into place. We designed it to be assembled this way because we believe that using the same repetitive motion increased efficiency in assembling the display. Going into the project, we really believed in being as creative as possible, not just in the design, but in our solutions. We found ourselves editing everything down over and over to create the most simplest solution for every aspect by asking one question: what is its purpose? If it had no functional purpose, we eliminated it. And if it did, we made sure that it was functional in all aspects of the project. Because with functionality came 3 things: design, sustainability, and the ease of assembly. We're from the University of Texas. I'm Cosme.
I'm Holly.
And I'm Ayla. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Texas. Great presentations from everyone. I think there could be a career opening in corrugated packaging and design for each of you. Please remember to visit ICPF's website, www.careersincorrugated.org, to view available jobs that are regularly posted on the career portal there. Also, contact ICPF by email if you are interested in student internships and joining the career network. An internship is a great way to get your foot in the door for a full-time position in the corrugated industry upon graduation.
Now, before we identify the winners, I want to remind students to enter the 2014 AICC Student Design Competition. The 3 categories are Design to an Opportunity Part 1, Structural Design, Design to an Opportunity Part 2, Graphic Design, and Corrugated as Art. However, ICPF does not include the category Corrugated as Art in this Best of the Best runoff competition. This year, AICC's Design to an Opportunity is a real-world challenge to create a 3-part marketing solution for your university or college to use as a recruiting mechanism. The first part of the challenge is to design a floor display or standee type display piece to promote your university or college. The second part is the creation of a mailer and shipper to promote your university or college to potential students. And the third part is to design and create a student welcome kit that can hold giveaway items that a student would receive on his or her first day. Your faculty receive the competition guidelines in an email from ICPF and possibly AICC as well. However, full competition materials are also available through a link to AICC from ICPF's website, careersincorrugated.org. Again, the deadline for design entries is June 20th, 2014. You should know that the top student winners who are competing today won an all expenses paid trip to the AICC National Convention in Las Vegas this past October, where they assembled on stage for international recognition. Those who enter and win this year will be invited to join AICC at its annual meeting in Long Beach, California, coming this fall. All expenses paid. The winners will be honored on stage at the general session and are welcome and encouraged to attend all the sessions and networking events held in conjunction with the meeting. The AICC 2014 annual meeting is being held at the Hyatt Regency in Long Beach Convention Center. All winners also will receive a distinctive plaque as well as a great boost to their resume. And the winning entries will be displayed at AICC's 2014 meeting in Long Beach. We hope that you will participate in this competition that brings you cash prizes, recognition, and great exposure to the corrugated packaging and display industry that offers great career opportunities.
And have the winners of the 2014 ICPF Best of the Best Student Design Presentation Competition been selected? I know it was a tough competition, so I just wanted to make sure you had time. Just working on it. Second first. Okay. All right, in third place is Ryerson University. In second place, Dunwoody. Meaning first place is the University of Texas Arlington. Congratulations to all our winners.
It looks like our time is up. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you will participate in the teleconference next year.
Goodbye, everybody. Remember to visit ICPF's website, www.careersincorrugated.org. Thanks.